Hey James, hey, congratulations. Another action film under your belt with The Workout.
Thank you, thank you. I mean, you've seen all of my action films at this point, I guess. So I feel like you've seen all the different types.
I did. I feel like I should just form a fan club. But like always, the obligatory question I have to ask, where the original idea came from for The Workout.
As weird as it sounds, like I just so like two different things. One, like the idea to make a movie came from like we were sitting around during the strikes and like we weren't doing anything. And I was like, okay, what can I do with my friends that doesn't like break any of the strike protocols but still be creative because I wanted to like flex my creative muscle. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just make a movie like Hell or High Water. I'm gonna make something fun that's unique. And I was like, how do I do something that feels big but doesn't cost as much? And in my head I was like, well, I've never seen a found footage action movie. And so I was like, what if I do that? Like, what if it was like, you know, the Blair Witch Project meets like Die Hard? Like, what would that be like? And so that's kind of where the whole idea started to come from. And as even more weird, during the strikes, I was producing for a friend's like energy drink company, nitrous oxide no beats. They were we were producing like a series of like workout videos that like people could do like at home. And like it was still during that time, it was still during like COVID time, so like it was like people would have like at home workouts, you know what I mean? And there was some of the like some of the trainers were even wearing masks, but we were filming those in a gym. And that was the gym that we shot the very first scene of the movie in, because I was like literally like staring at it while like the directors were making these workout videos. And I was like, wow, what if this became like, what if this just went crazy and somebody broke in and like did all this stuff? So that's kind of where the whole idea, so it's like three different areas came together.
Wow. And just to make that point, this is the first time you have tried to direct a found footage like type of video.
No, I've done so very early in my career. I did the first movie ever, first feature film ever shot fully on iPhone, which was To Jennifer. And that movie was found footage. And then also my movie Hate Crime, which got banned in the UK. It's like one of five movies in the past like 20 years to be banned by the BBFC. That one was also found footage. But I have not gone back to found footage since I was like 19 years old.
Wow. Well, those are two movies I have not seen because it was so long ago.
Yes, those are very early my career movies. Those are young James starting out.
Well, James, tell us about the preparation work on this project for the workout because camera work is you know actions and stunts is one thing, but you have to prepare the different types of cameras and angles, and you must have really storyboard the hell out of this.
Yeah, I mean, preparation was really crazy. I was really lucky to be working with Brian Koss, who was my DP on Survive the Game and Fortress, and as well as Hot Seat. So we had a very good rapport. Brian's amazing. And one of the things that we shot listed the whole movie, but a lot of the times we'd go into the scenes and the shot list would start to go out the door, because a lot of what we planned felt like almost too movie like. And so we
Hmm.
would kind of like look around, and when we'd be walking through a location, it would almost be like, as weird as this sounds, we almost kind of felt like bank robbers, because we were like, where would a camera be inside of this thing? So we're like walking through a place looking for where a hidden camera would be, or like a security cam, like looking around it. It was we're pretty much like casing each location. And I kind of, me and him developed very early this like mixed media approach. So each camera had like a different vibe. And so like, we had the characters wearing, GoPros, but as they got upgraded as the movie went, it became a better camera that was on their chest. So a lot of the actors had to become like almost cameramen because they were wearing like chest cams that tracked stuff, as well as we had like a mixture of iPhones, Alexa, Red. There was so much stuff going in any given scene. I know this is going to sound crazy. Any given take, there was up to 8 cameras going at the same time.
Mm. So James, how do you direct these type of scenes? Especially, I was very impressed with the POV action scenes because I wasn't sure whether you had your actors wearing the body cams themselves or your DP was actually doing the punching. But you
No, it
pulled
was
it off.
the actors actually wearing the cameras. And we mounted it to their chest and they learned the choreography based on how it would work for the camera. So they would learn the choreography one way, which is, for when the camera wasn't on them. And then they would have to adjust based on how when the camera was on them, which was, very, very complicated, because actors aren't inherently camera people. But it definitely, I think, really added to the visceral nature of the film. And it was, I think the POV stuff really works. I don't think it would work for an entire movie nonstop, but the flashes of it that we use, I think, really kind of add something personal to the film.
And then there was also clever editing to make sure it looks like there's like some kind of transition from camera to camera, right?
Yeah, that is the great RJ Cooper, who has literally edited everything that I have done since 2018, I think 2019. And RJ is just phenomenal at what he does. I mean, he's the only person that I know that I could give 8 cameras worth of footage on for every single scene, and he looks at it and goes, "Oh, I know exactly what James was trying to do here." Because when you talk about like a collaboration, RJ is my editor. We've done so many things together now that like he legitimately is just in my brain. And actually, hilariously enough, if you watch any like behind the scenes or stuff of me, like takes from movies, if we just watch like full takes, I'm talking to RJ like before I cut. I'll be like, "Hey RJ, use this piece of it." Like I'm telling him things too, so it's we have a communication that we've kind of gotten down pat.
In the case for the workout, I've noticed that there's a lot more hand-to-hand combat than shooting scenes in this film, which basically you took advantage with the cameras. But before I get into the cast, I really want to know the stunt team that you actually brought on board because every great director works with the usual stunt teams for their action films.
Yeah, so this was Luc LaFontaine, who was my stunt coordinator on Darkness of Man. And when I sat down with Luc, I explained to him this whole movie, and I literally told him like, Luke, I need you to do this, and basically, if he was able to do it, we were going to make the movie, and if he couldn't do it, we weren't going to make the movie. So not a lot of pressure to put on him. So he was like, I'm in, and I was like, yes, we're going to make the movie, because I was like, I can't do this without you. So he graciously signed on, and a lot of the fight choreography and design, that's all him. A lot of the stuff I came up, scripted some things, but he really enhanced it and made it so much his own that it really, it's awesome what he was able to pull together.
Now, the two main cast members of Peter and Josh, can you talk about recruiting them? I understand Peter has much more of a stunt background.
Yeah, so Peter, was the bad guy in Darkness of Man. And so I called Peter while I was writing this with David, and me and David got on the phone, and I just started like reading lines from the script to Peter, and I was like, "You're gonna have to play the lead. Are you in?" And he just started like laughing. He's like, yeah, sure, I'm in. And then like, 2 weeks later, I'm like, I hit him up and we sit down and we're having dinner and we're like talking, and he's looking at me. He's like, oh, you're serious? This is a real movie? You're actually making this? And I was like, yeah. He's like, I've never been cast where somebody just calls me and starts reading scenes and tries to convince me to do it. And he's like, but you actually want me to be the lead? I'm like, 100%. And so that's how we got Peter, and Peter is awesome in the movie. I'm so excited. And then Josh and I had been friends for quite a long time. He acted in my movie Captors, which was from 2017, and he also is an ex Army Ranger. So he's done 4 tours of duty, and he definitely was able to pick up the fight stuff. And I will say the unique thing about this movie is because of the found footage nature and quality of the movie, there are no stunt doubles. Like, these guys do 100% of their own stunts. Like, there's not a single moment where they are not doing, if their character is doing something in the movie, that is them. Like, even the scene where they're wearing the masks, that was just to hide their identity, story wise. They do 100% of those fights. Like, there's not a single moment, a single fall, a single punch, a single driving moment, anything that they are not doing themselves.
Was that the decisions based on the actors, or your decision, or budgetary reasons? What's going on?
It was they wanted to do it, and Luke worked with them for 2 months before, and they were able to learn and do everything, and they did every single piece of it. And there's something like really amazing when your actors are able to pull off the stunts, because I don't have to hide things, I don't have to shoot it how I don't want to shoot it. Like, it's 100% them doing it, so I can shoot it exactly how I imagine every moment of it.
So throughout this entire project, what was the most difficult scene and shot that you actually have to pull off?
The most difficult sequence for me, probably, uh I would say probably, the the mansion overtaking, because that one, the first time, not the second one, where they just have the endless amount of bad guys that they're just fighting over and over again. That whole fight scene took 2 days. And so, like, we were, it just remembering the continuity and the moments of all of that across a 2-day thing, was really complex, especially because, on this type of budget, it was a lot of favors, so we didn't necessarily have all the stunt guys for the 2 days. So I had to, like, figure out who was going to be there at what times, who I had to shoot out. And, like, so that moment where everybody's laying on the ground and they're all knocked out, I had to shoot that first. So I had, like, all the bodies there, and then go back and, like, get them all to that point of laying down.
That's a lot of clippings, James. I do have to admit. Well, let me wrap this up with you, because I know you're such an action director and you love the action drama. I bet you already have another action film lined up, right? Can you talk about some of your future projects?
So, as weird as this sounds, my next movie is a comedy.
Oh,
So but who knows? After that, I might be going back to action. But right now, I'm my next one that comes out is a comedy.
oh wow, that is something different. Gosh, I wonder if I'm going to be covering that, but we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. I'll tell you though, there's a little action that slips its way into that comedy.
Excellent. Well, James, it's a pleasure speaking to you again about all your films. This one is a very unique, adrenaline pumping film with the workout. And all I could say is, this is not the workout I would ever sign up for. So,
Yeah, no, it's a wild ride, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope everybody checks it out on VOD the 28th of October.
well said. Next time, James.
See you soon.